All right, let's talk Las Vegas Raiders in the heat of training camp right now. Exciting time for you guys, Raider Nation. A lot of new exciting news, of course. Quarterback position, top line stars like Brock Bowers, but there's some under the radar rookies are off to a great start as well. A lot of great things to talk about. I'm Nick. This is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Raider Nation. Look, this is a team we saw at the end of 2023, building a lot of momentum, really solid draft class, certainly at the top. When you look at a guy like Brock Bowers, a lot of energy, a lot of momentum. But like I said in the opening, there's a lot of under the radar rookies that look like they're set to have a huge impact as well. Raiders could have picked up multiple steals from the draft the way things are going. Let's pull up this report courtesy of Sporting News, and we'll talk about it more in detail on the other side. It's hard for rookies like fifth-round linebacker Tommy Eichenberg and fourth-round cornerback DeCamarion Richardson to see the field a lot in their first seasons, but both rookies appear to be in consideration for some snaps on defense. During training camp practice, head coach Antonio Pierce heaped praise on both for what they've shown in camp thus far. He's quiet. He doesn't say nothing, but if you watch every rep, he's right behind Jack or Facion or whoever it is, and he's just taking a lot of mental reps, Pierce said of Richardson, according to Jesse Merrick of News 3 Los Angeles. When he goes in, he's not making these mistakes. And I think we're doing a good job as coaches of spoon feeding him, not throwing him out there to the wolves right away so he doesn't get burned and lose that confidence. A report goes on to say, Tommy is a silent killer, Pierce said of Eichenberg. Also, per Merrick, Tommy is slowly, each and every day, gotten better and better. And I'm going back to OTAs and minicamp. He's coming right into training camp and picked right up. He's put himself in position to be a backup or be a guy to get some playing time for us. We know what he can do on special teams, but his football savviness, his anticipation, his overall leadership, I love to see that when we get the pads on what I think it's going to look like. I'm excited for that. Obviously, Antonio Pierce, former NFL linebacker in his own right, being excited for Eichenberg that's as high praise as you can get. And the young corner Richardson as well, doing some good things mentally. That's critical as well. Raiders have two solid looking rookies here. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on all of this. But first, Raiders fans, in the comment section below. Obviously, an exciting time. Football is slowly but surely coming back. A lot of great matchups in this upcoming NFL season for the Raiders. But give us the one game you're looking forward to more than any other. Maybe it's a game you're planning on attending. Maybe it's a revenge game, whatever it may be. Give us the one matchup upcoming this season for the Raiders that you're excited for more than any other, and put it in the comment section below. And while you're down there, make sure you check out the description box below for our affiliate link to our recommended reading to get you ready for the upcoming NFL season. It's a great book called Playmakers by Mike Florio. It's a great read. We both bought it. We highly recommend it. If you want to purchase it, please use our affiliate link. Takes you to Amazon to buy the book. It helps our channel out. Plus, you get some great reading. Really appreciate it if you want to support us that way. But Miles, I will throw it over to you now. What are your thoughts on this latest Raiders news?
Yeah, no, this sounds fantastic because you already got two surefire starters from this draft class as well on the offensive side of the ball. When you look at Powers Johnson, probably slotting in at that guard position, and then you got Brock Bowers at tight end, obviously, that's really good. But if you can get two defensive contributors on this draft as well, two offensive and two defensive contributors from one draft, that's fantastic. That's as well above average. That's about as good as it can possibly get. So I really love to hear what we're seeing about these guys already. And what I love to hear more than that is how they're going about doing it. The words Antonio Pierce says when he talks about the corners here, when he talks about these guys, DeCarrion Richardson, he says we're not gonna give it all to him at once. We're trying to keep his confidence up, spoon feed him what he needs as he goes along, and really, just build and build and build. And I love to see he's out there. The one thing I like the most, they say he's out there. He's taking the mental reps go through every play, even if he's not necessarily in the play, taking the mental reps. And that's fine. It's great if someone's taking mental reps, but it seems what he's actually doing is being able to apply those mental reps. And Antonio Pierce comes out and says he's not making the mistakes when he's out on the field. So that's the key. You can take as many mental reps as you want. You can study for a test or exam as much as you want. If you cannot apply the material that you learn from that to the game, then it doesn't matter. So I really like that he's able to do that as well. Then Eichenberg, on the other hand, we already did a video about Eichenberg. He's spectacular. He seems like a really great player. As you alluded to, Antonio Pierce, linebacker in his own right. The fact that he is impressed with Eichenberg, calls him killer. You love those words as well for a linebacker. I think you got to be really excited about these two young players. for this Raiders defense. I'm expecting to see them start to, rotate in and out, get some playing time throughout the season. Probably not starting right away, but these are two guys I'd keep my eyes on because it seems like he said Eichenberg came in all the way back to OTAs, and every single day he's gotten better. He has not lost any steam. So I expect maybe eventually this guy's going to be starting. This guy could be a big time contributor for this defense. I'm really excited if I'm a Raiders fan.
Yeah, look, obviously the Eichenberg praise from Antonio Pierce, that's huge, right? That's obviously a great sign. And we've talked about Eichenberg a lot this offseason. I think he's a steal. I think going back to his just initial draft position, being selected where he was, I thought that was ridiculous. I understand people didn't like him because his foot speed wasn't great, things like that. Guy played at Ohio State, was a great player, team captain, leader, very productive, won a lot of football games, and you get him what? I think in the 5th round, right? I mean, that's a steal. He's going to be a great player. Even if it's just a special teams backup situational role, he's going to get much more. The Raiders are going to get much more value out of Eichenberg than they gave up to pick him up in the 5th round. So it's going to be a huge value move for the Raiders, and I think he'll be a lot more than just a backup and special teamer. I think he's got a very bright future. But I think what's really interesting is Richardson and the mental reps. So for people who don't understand, training camp and the reps you get is very, very limited, right? People think back to like what you saw in the movies or shows of like old school 2-a-days where practices are 4 hours long and there's, 1,000 snaps of scrimmaging and things like that. You get a million reps. That is not the case, right? There's it's very structured practice. Is sometimes as short as like an hour, right? You get about 2/3 of the practice are going to be in what's called individual, which is with your position coach and things like that, working on footwork and other technical things. Then you're going to get sort of isolated one-on-one competition drills before you get into a team mode and things like that, where you actually have to worry about what plays are called and this coverages and that kind of stuff. And that's not a lot of reps. So overall, for an entire team period, like a scrimmage, there may be only 15 plays total, right, over the course of that entire period. So what does that mean, right? You have, say, 5 DBs or 6 DBs, let's say one on each side, 3 rotations. That means at best, if you're Richardson, you're getting 5 reps. That's very limited. You go in there for 5 plays and you're out, right? So you have to use the time when you're not on the practice field to get these so-called mental reps. And that is so important. A lot of people, a lot of these young players, they don't have the mental acuity to use that time productively, right? Because you're hot, tired, right? It's sweaty, a lot of stressful environment. You're just trying to catch your breath. And so while you're not on the field, you're kind of just sort of trying to relax a little bit and compose yourself and just basically not throw up all over yourself because it's 100 freaking degrees, right? But Richardson is using that time when he's not on the field to say, okay, what's going on? What do I need to do? What are the coverages? What are the schemes? What are the responsibilities? And then he goes out there and doesn't make the mental mistakes. That is the biggest thing with rookies, certainly defensive backfield early on, is avoiding the mental mistakes, right? Okay, are we in zone? Are we in man? Do I have high? Do I have low? What are my responsibilities? Most importantly, you hear this all the time. Where is my help? Do I have safety over the top? Do I have safety middle of the field? Do I have no help? Understanding all of that is the only way you will ever get on the field as a defensive back. And the fact that Richardson is understanding the mental side of the game and is willing to put in that extra effort to get there is a great sign. So when you factor in Richardson's mental acuity with Eichenberg, I think it's very realistic here that the Raiders have not one, but 2 huge steals emerging here at training camp.